Okay, joining us now for the Evening Edit debate, Congressman Tiffany from House Judiciary and Fox News contributor Joe Concha. Terrific guys, both of them. First, this news to you, Congressman. The Biden White House is flying illegal aliens out of California to Texas after Texas cracked down on crossings. It's something like it costs $80,000 per flight. I mean, this is really concerning, this border crisis news, Congressman, given the news about the new assassination threat against President Trump out of Iran.
Yeah, it continues apace, Liz, and now they're flying them from state to state. The Biden administration and Secretary Mayorkas will stop at nothing to bring people illegally into this country, including his horrible poll numbers. So
what the congressman just said, when you stack up what's going on, Joe, with that, and then you look at J.D. Vance's record, what he's saying about the border, what he's saying about his working class roots, show J.D. Vance's record on what he's been doing about the economy. He's really a push for working class voters. You know, he's blaming Bidenomics for inflation. He's a fierce critic of the border crisis. What do you think, Joe?
Well, when you look at the dictionary at Rust Belt populist, you probably see a picture of J.D. Vance next to that particular definition. And look, he's been saying this for years. We've been talking about it as well. More than 10 million people have been coming into this country illegally since this president took office in Biden. That's more than the population of 40 U.S. states. I mean, show me any other civilized country, J.D. Vance would say, where this is remotely happening. Meanwhile, of those 10 million, hundreds that have been apprehended are on the FBI terror watch list. And there were probably hundreds more, or even thousands more, who have crossed into this country illegally, who were not apprehended over the past 3 years. And we saw how vulnerable Donald Trump was at that rally on Saturday. And for the Secret Service somehow to allow a 20-year-old to outflank them all and gain access to the only building with line of sight to the president, he came within a millimeter of losing his life. Now, just imagine, to your point, a much more sophisticated plot carried out by the Iranians or ISIS or al-Qaeda with multiple actors who are trained to kill. This is a very scary time right now. We have serious problems. We need serious people like J.D. Vance to solve them, who's been talking about this crisis for years.
So what Joe just said, Congressman, in light of what the news is coming in now, where President Biden is going to push for term limits, he's focused on term limits for the Supreme Court justices. The president today saying President Trump has been lying about the economy. What do you make of that news?
He's got his talking points, and we know this president is in steep decline. The American people, we've known about it for years. The American people saw it on June 27th. All he knows at this point is his talking points, and he just keeps repeating them. He does not realize that the American people have left him. When I watch this, Liz, I think the American people are completely tuned out from Joe Biden at this point.
Okay. Take on what the congressman just said, Joe.
Well, we have a cost of living that's up 20% since Joe Biden took office. Gas prices up 50%. Everything is more expensive. I had a plumber here today, and he was talking about like everything. I'm drowning right now. This economy is killing me. And he didn't strike me necessarily as a Republican or a Democrat, just as a guy trying to get by and make a living. The bottom line is that the president is tone deaf because the people around him are feeding him information like, oh, you actually inherited 9% inflation when you took office, or you inherited a border crisis that Trump handed to you. He's told these things and doesn't have the mental fitness to push back on it and say, well, are you sure that's right? No, he just accepts it and then goes out there and repeats what they're telling him to say.
Congressman Tiffany, Joe Concha, appreciate you both so much. Thanks for joining us this evening.